I wonder if that's something that should be done for, that might be an interesting idea for a Discord channel, of like, I don't know, selfies, or, you know, post, videos, or, I don't know, IRL selfie stuff. I don't know. Clearly, I don't go outside enough to know what makes the most sense for these things. I'm too busy embracing the darkness, except for the one light off to the side of my apartment. That looks really nice. I should take a picture of that at some point. I've got a, so remember how just very recently I bought, so I was like, oh man, I kind of really want to have, I realized how little, how stale and sterile my apartment looks, because I don't have things like plants. So I finally got around to getting a plant, and then I have two. So I have two succulents, sitting on a bookcase off to the side, and between them is a, just a crappy light I got at like a Target. And the ambience it gives is amazing. It's very comfortable. It's like candlelight, and I don't know, sort of the effect that I get. It kind of, I don't know, it makes things feel more fresh. It's almost like, you know how you could just eat why do we always go to food metaphors? You know how you could just eat let's say for example, a beef and cheese burrito, or I guess more like, for the aesthetic purpose, more like a beef and cheese taco, super plain, right? And you can also load it up with lettuce and tomato and olives and stuff, and give it a lot more color and a lot more variety to it, and freshen up the flavor and stuff. And I always kind of feel like plants, having houseplants, does that for your aesthetic. Maybe that just sounds really weird. Marty Dangerfield had a joke that it reminded you of. He said your doctor needed, told you needed a urine sample, soul sample, a semen sample, so save mine, gave him underwear, gave my underwear and got none of there. Oh, I don't really see where you're going with that, but okay. I took a shower today. I know I'm working from home. Actually, sometimes I've been, like, the casual has been setting in. So initially I was wearing, like, full outside attire to go to, like, to walk over to the room where my workstation is. And then, God damn it, fucking, I keep forgetting that they have, it's not that they just cast lightning, they literally have a, like, giant, like, straight-ass beam of it. Yeah, I think houseplants do a little bit. I think they don't do enough to help. Like, they don't, for example, like, they won't scrub your, they won't fully scrub your apartment. They make it a little better. I think most of it more so is just the visuals. I still have to open my windows every while I show to just flush out the stale air. But just I don't know, like the mental differences, you know, I don't know, like, you know, and going back to the food metaphors again, you know how they say you eat with your eyes? You know, you first see something and it's like, that looks appetizing, and then you smell it, and it's like, this is confirming all of my greatest ambitions, and then, you know, then you finally get a chance to taste whatever you're eating. It's almost like that's the same thing with an apartment. It's like, you need the aesthetic helps sell the fact that it's meant to be a place of comfort. And I think I was so I've had such utilitarian thinking for so long that I never realized the comfort value of that. You have an allergenic air filter in your air conditioner? So I have one of the like the 16,000 plus rated ones, and then I've got for my AC filter, and then I have 2 standing air filters just to try to keep the dust down, because unfortunately, so I'm not allergic to like pollen except for mesquite. I am allergic to mesquite pollen. I'm allergic to dust mites, of all things. So basically, I'm allergic to all human dust. So working in an office environment is, you know, was great. People shuffling around everywhere. Can't remember what the jewelry box was. I think it was like every different color makes me do more damage or something. I don't know. And I'm getting crazy signature charge. Hay fever? Oh. They did picking up cash gems heals for a small amount. Okay, that's not what I thought, but that's also great. No. I was thinking of Unity or whatever it is. Captain's Ring. Unity, I think, is the name in Enter the Gungeon. So funny thing is, I was in Claritin for allergies for a bit. Then I guess my parents must have thought the allergies had cleared up. I think they didn't realize that I was allergic to dust, to human dust. And maybe I started going outside more or opening the windows more or something. I don't know. So I hadn't been taking any allergy medicine for the longest time. And then after moving to this current place where allergies are especially prevalent, like pollen allergies. It occurred to me like, oh, perhaps I should be an adult and see a doctor and like see what they think, because I'm pretty sure I'm allergic to something. And then they did the full battery test, and they're like, it's not pollen for the most part; it is dust. And so I started with Allegra, I moved on to Zyrtec. And I'm probably going to go back to, I don't know. So the funny thing is that the allergist says that this is not a thing, where people don't, like, the allergist says people don't get used to one or the other allergy medicine, and you don't need to swab every month or whatever. But, a lot of places, my own personal experience, which could be psychosomatic, and, like, everybody I work with is like, yeah, you gotta swap back and forth. I don't know. If I had the Arcana or the item rewards card, whatever it's called, I guess there's only a relic and Arcana rewards. I don't think there's a shopkeeper rewards card. If this is just slightly cheaper, I'd want to get it. I still kind of almost want to get it. Mirror Shield would be great too. I have so much money. Why not? Claritin has always worked for you. I mean, sticking with Zyrtec definitely is doing something, and maybe it's just psychosomatic, because that effect is the placebo effect is very, very strong. It is strong enough to where drugs have to be exceptionally effective to beat out placebo, and that's part of why you can be confident when a certain drug is working, because if it's been tested properly, then it's been demonstrated to be very effective. But on the flip side, it also means that if you're aware of that and you think about it too much, then you start overthinking it like I do, and you wonder if you should switch between Zyrtec and Allegra over and over again. because I can't control myself, it seems. This particular setup is fucking ridiculous. This is insane. This setup is insane. There's a shield that protects you from water. I can't remember what it's called, but this reminds me of it so much visually. Even though the shape's a lot different, it's got slightly different colors. Each Earth Arcana unlocked. No. If I end up getting like the Surefire Rocket and the Infinity Marble, this is gonna be a crazy build because the signature is really strong. Even without it, I'm building the charge so much. Just the fact that I've been keeping like full health for as long as I have been is kind of nuts. Because I'm healing off of Chaos Gems, I'm healing off of crits. I'm minimizing my damage a lot anyways. I'm attacking from a distance. I wish I wasn't so tired lately. So the cool thing about the people I work with, and it's a shame that I can't really talk about where I actually work, because that's the reality of working at a AAA studio, I guess. The shame, the cool thing about working with them is that they there's a good few people who I work with who are very into like the whole company's pretty good for like work-life balance. In fact, they encourage me taking way more time off than I would think about. But positive like physical and mental health and like, you know, a lot of stuff. And I was talking to one of them, and they were talking like, you know, I was talking about how like, man, I really need to get out and I need to take a walk and whatnot, and but you know, not being super, not even that I'm like worried about getting sick or whatever, because I'll just wear a mask and, you know, stay away from people and stuff. But I always feel awkward going out and doing like even basic exercise or walking around, being a fat guy. And when I was younger, more than once when taking, probably just a couple times, but I remember them, you would have somebody pass by and make a rude comment, just being a fat person walking around, or even, you know, the few times I've like rode a bike around, and he gave me very much a like fuck them pep talk, and maybe this weekend I'll take a walk around the block just to get some exercise, because I need something. I need a mix of fresh air, and I need some exercise, and I'm not exercising well enough inside. Yeah. But I've been so ooh, 150? Taken. I've been so restless and so sort of confined in this apartment that I just want to get out, and I feel like it'll bring some life into me, and I need that. And that's part of why I didn't stream earlier, and I didn't do. I really want to do more of. I want to do more of Signs of the Sojourner, because that game is really cool. But I don't want to do it unless I have a shit ton of energy. Like roguelites are easier for me to play and not need to dedicate so much mental energy to it. And I want to have enough energy to appreciate it, if that makes any sense. You walk at night in your small town when everyone's asleep? Well, I don't know if I want to walk at night, because, you know... So two things. One, I live in a place where apparently cops are very aggressive. The second thing is I don't want to be some weirdo walking around in the middle of the night. Even if I wasn't in a place where cops are aggressive, because I don't want to get accosted because I'm just finding some time to just get outside for once. I wish I had the... I wonder if this gives me another charge or something. Okay, I'll take that. Homing flares is kind of pretty good too. But yeah, I don't want to be somebody who people think is suspicious, because I just not in an era when cops are just beating people and killing people outright, like out in public, like not just infrequently, like, not that it's not a tragedy, but it's like it's exploded recently. Or part of it is it's a lot more visible. That's one thing that... who said that? Let me see. Who said this? Oh, it was Will Smith, right. He basically said, he said that, he said racism is not getting worse, it's getting filmed, and, a lot of the really rough things in the world, are getting a lot more visible, probably quicker than they're becoming, more common. I'm sure it's a bit of both, but like everybody has a phone now in their pocket. Everybody has a camera in their pocket, I should say. There, yeah, that works. But yeah, everybody has effectively a camera in their pocket, and they can record this stuff now. And but it definitely makes the world sound very scary. Like, you're aware of it now, regardless of whether or not it's become worse. And that just makes me, like, it makes me that more sort of conscious around, you know, for example, around cops, because I don't want to get shot. I don't want to randomly get beat up because they need a power trip or whatever, or they need to meet a quota, or whatever it ends up being. And yeah, like, because, unfortunately, of the racism in this country, you get to enjoy a bit of privilege if you're white. And, you know, you have way less chance of getting fucking just arrested, you know, strangled to death, whatever. Even though nowadays, you know, cops beating up protesters don't seem to be picking and choosing very much. I mean, they are still they are still extremely racist, and it's unfortunate, but yeah. Well, you have to realize. Okay, so let me let me be pretty clear. Like, not too long ago, somebody got shot at a gas station right next to my apartment. Literally the one I go to all the time. There were protests on the road that I take to work. This is not like out in space somewhere. It is literally close. You know, it crosses paths with what would have been my daily routine, and now I'm not going out so much. So yeah, no, of course, anything that gets people to pay attention is going to get more. Is going to have more airtime, absolutely. Look how much damage it is. Hey, Alcom. Alcom, we're just chewing fat at this point. Well, I don't know. I mean, I think there's room for both. You know, I'm happy that I'm still employed, that I have a job that allows me to work from home, like get paid well enough to not be. You know, I don't have any real concerns except for like the incidental shit that hopefully just doesn't happen to me, or you know, bullshit inconveniences that like, oh, I can't get a haircut. Like, it's annoying to have hair all over everywhere and I can't manage it at all. But like, is it a real issue? Not really. There are bigger problems. Wow, I went right through that boss like so quick that I sort of can't even visualize what happened. I don't need any of this crap. What about the? No. I don't want the chakrams. I want something that goes out. Starting to realize that the GP doesn't care anymore. They brainwash the people. It's a pretty hard time. Yeah, I don't know how to solve that. I really wish that was an easier problem to solve. It's got to be something like, I don't know. I mean, like when things like basic education can be defunded into oblivion. I don't know how to solve it, and like empathy has been like deleted from human existence. It definitely allows hopelessness to set in, and that's kind of part of what people want. Like the people who want to continue to create an awful experience, the people who want to continue to allow prejudice and racism to exist, the people who want to continue to sit at the top, they want everything to feel hopeless. So, no product maker who wants to sell their product ever sets out to make decisions in detriment to their customers. But sometimes you wish you was to have some games dev who understands the decision, not targeting a particular thing you want. Well, I mean, the core, especially when it comes to the higher level decisions made from many game companies, you have to remember, like, games are businesses. They exist. Their primary purpose is to earn money. You know, so a lot of the higher level decisions made by game devs are that. And whenever you see this, like, okay, so let me go to one of the recent decisions that's interesting because it is not. It's hard to place it directly. It's hard to place it directly as the amount of money required to make that decision. And I'm about to get to it. The amount of money required to make the decision doesn't make sense. And it's the I think it was either, pretty sure it was the update to The Last of Us where they have a lot of accessibility features. And I think the accessibility features are awesome. I think it's a great move in terms of allowing way more people to play these games, regardless of their state of being. You know, whether their vision is different, whether their motor capability is different, whatever it is. I think that's great. I don't know how they could have justified the expense, because I'm not. I guess if you're big enough as a developer, well, two things. If you're big enough of a developer to have enough widespread attention to where it becomes a good enough marketing move, then maybe it pays for itself. Now, I'm speaking strictly like money devil's advocate. Like, when you think of how businesses operate, like, how do you everything, like, you know, anything that a game dev for any reason advocates for, there is a bottom line there somewhere, right? So I'm guessing it's a good enough PR move, plus getting some additional customers who are now able to play the game and play it well, or, you know, to satisfy, to where it's fun for them, is what I'm saying. Not really. I don't care if well doesn't really matter. Like, I'm not saying like at a level of skill, but to play it in a way that like they're enjoying it. It's still interesting that like they did the math on that and it worked out, and I can only imagine that maybe it's like they're also building a very reasonable foundation for future work, because if you don't, that's like, that work is expensive. As somebody who's done some work to make things a bit more accessible for games, because, you know, bear in mind, a lot of what I do is user interface stuff, and UI always gets lumped in with UX because there is a bit of overlap, and accessibility, because that's a whole additional field. It still makes me wonder how easily you can justify investing in that, even though I do want more. Like, I fought for things accessibility wise that I had to push to get through, to make games more playable for more people and to make the experience better. And like, I think it's just hard when it comes down to like a place that you work at may have a lot of initiatives, and how do you get an accessibility initiative to be pushed through when you can work on other things that affect 85% of the player base instead of 3? You know, it's not that it's bad to have accessibility. So, like, and I think it's great. It's just when you're working with available hours, like when you're trying to slot out a certain amount of time available to work on things, how do you fit that? You know, you're basically doing it at a loss and hoping it's effectively a marketing. It's a marketing investment. I don't know. What's this? You're thinking of Bungie and one of their recent decisions, recently introducing game ruining problem they set out. Made every reward for any amount of player time investment temporary. I guess I don't know enough about Destiny. And honestly, like, reward systems in games, I have not spent enough time in to have a lot of, like, I tend to not play a lot of multiplayer games, and I tend to not play a lot of like MMO style online shit. So it's the same way that, like, how do you balance the player progression and the gear economy in like Elite Dangerous or whatever? Like, how quickly should the average player be able to get what did they say, Amoconda, but that's the end of the dungeon, an Anaconda, and like, how many ships should a player have? One of the things somebody mentioned a while back was like getting, you know, player-owned capital ships. I can't remember what they were called, carriers, or I don't know, but like it was supposed to be so difficult to get them that like almost nobody would ever have them, and there was a lot of complaints. And it's like, I don't know enough about how those games regress to have a comment on that, and I haven't played enough games that have those systems. I would say like it's got like the experience that I've had have been like things like Animal Crossing, and it's like the pace at which you get things that make you able to do more things and not be bogged down with piecemeal interactions for Animal Crossing is agony for me. That you never, like, Stardew Valley allows you to progress into doing bigger things. You zoom out a bit, your scope expands. Graveyard Keeper was the same way. Even with the zombie update that they had, where you make little farm workers. You don't seem to ever get that. You have like one extra tier of like tools break less in Animal Crossing. You never seem to expand into like everything is still done piecemeal at the smallest level. And I still want to do a bit of Animal Crossing because it's chill. But like those are the types of hopeless progression for me that like I haven't seen, like, for example, I played the alpha for Destiny and got bored really quickly, and I just didn't go back. I don't think Destiny is the kind of game I would like. So if you're talking about gear progression, Monster Hunter is probably the thing that I could speak to some degree about, just how much grinding it takes to get a full set of like, I don't know, Tigrex armor or whatever. I don't know, or I don't even know what World has, honestly. I played a bit of Worlds and I didn't go back. I don't know, let's go beat a boss. Jeez, I still have full health. What the fuck? I think I got tapped earlier. I didn't even have to worry, like... This is absurd. This is super strong. This is not even fair. Remember how I mentioned I wanted more boomerang-related shit? This is just like... This is dumb broken. I mean, it's cool. I like it. It's silly. This is a power trip that I don't deserve. I haven't earned it. And it's fun. Just like kitchen sink, throw shit at the enemy. So yeah, as a player, you literally won't fuck that stop playing. You really want to understand what was behind the decision. Kyleon, the best I can give you, and I'm honestly, there was actually some videos that I wanted to watch anyways, is we should go through GDC's videos especially, because GDC has is literally the developers of these games going up and saying, like, here's why we made the decision, here's like high level conceptual shit, and here's some details that we tripped over or whatever. Really, like, some of the videos are like shit I could never care about, like, I could never put to use, I should say. Like there was a video that was really great about how they achieved the visual effect, the character shading for Guilty Gear Xrd, and it's like, I'll never do anything with graphics. I don't know, like, I can't put this to use, but it was cool to look at, right? What is it, 8 frames and 16 milliseconds, which is the Mortal Kombat one, where they go back and forth between Mortal Kombat and Injustice, talking about how they do their rollback netcode. Cool, relevant. I'll probably never use it. But there was one talking about UX related stuff, which I want to see because I'm curious about how much of that I've come across with my work. And I'm 98% sure there's at least a few. I'm sure there's at least 3 or 4 at least about game economy stuff that I've glossed over because, like, I don't play enough of those types of games, but I know it's relevant for, I've worked on games with MTX system before. I've literally, like, I was the person who implemented the store for Heroes of New Earth. Like, I'm the person who did the initial back-end database. I initially did the front-end skeleton work. I did the wireframing. I hooked it all together functionality-wise. The only thing I really didn't do for the first version, even the connecting to the payment processor and stuff, the only thing I didn't do for Heroes of New Earth, the first version of that, was the art, because I'm not an artist. I did get the art from the artist to format it and get it into the game. But, like, did I design the items that went into that store? No. Did I design the rates of exchange for things to go into that store? No. Did I pick which ones they were or concept them out? No. Indie devs really do things right. The VR ecosystem it's really only indie devs with a few exceptions. Notice how many indie games that I play, because they're genres that big companies would never approach because they can't get a high enough rate of return on, and they're too risky to make. They're too much money to throw. Like, you got to remember, for all the indie games that we love, there are so many more that, like, relative to the amount of AAA games that fail, the rate of failure for indie games is, like, astronomical. You know, for every Minecraft, for every Undertale, there's thousands upon thousands of games that don't go anywhere. AAA is way safer, spends way more time researching stuff, and even then it's still a fucking gamble. Why am I bothering? Like, why am I bothering with cursed items right now? And it's like, I have an amazing build, I have full health, I haven't had to buy a single potion, I'm destroying bosses. Like, why am I bothering with cursed items? Like, let me go for risk reward. But yeah, like, indie devs have a much higher rate of failure than AAA. You just never see them, where AAA is, like, way more on the radar. And as I say that, I still have to remind you that I'm playing one of many amazing indie games that's been released in the last while or so. This one has been updated like crazy. And the majority of the games that if you look at my games list, the majority of the games that I've actually put a lot of time into are indies, especially lately. It's mostly just, like, Steam games, like indie Steam games. And there's, like, many great AAA games that I just didn't bother with, or I didn't finish, or I stopped, or whatever. Like, I think I went to go load up some Monster Hunter World. I went into and stopped. Many fighting games, Street Fighter 5, Tekken 7, whatever I played a bit of and stopped. I did. Shit, I mentioned Monster Hunter. I have Doom 2020, whatever, the new one, Eternal, and I didn't play it. I will at some point, I guess. I don't know. What other AAA games came out that I actually wanted to play? I know there's a few, like a couple. That were released recently. I'd have to look at... Oh, Control. That's not AAA. I don't know. Is that kind of AAA? I kept calling it Control Remedy over and over again because they're... I think Remedy is the name of the developer. You'd understand if Bungie was an indie studio. In that case, they wouldn't even need to tell you, like, resources expected going in. Oh, are you assuming that AAA devs are also have infinite resources and can do whatever they want? Because that's not how things work. You're at the mercy of higher level decisions that, especially, like, even if you don't have, if you're not beholden to, like, a big publisher or whatever, and you're your own studio and you're your own publisher, it's like, it doesn't work that way. There's always competing interests, even if each individual interest is wholly right to do, and one or many are going to lose out. I should really look and see what this does. The enhanced one. Each activation has an additional hit. Oh yeah, I guess it's true. expect them to have plenty, especially makers games that sell well, sell extremely well. Doesn't if they could still sell well, sell extremely well, and not meet the targets that they need in order to afford additional development. And bear in mind, some of those high-level decisions are like going to be things like how much money goes into marketing versus how much money goes into development, or how much money goes to the higher-ups and how much money goes to development, or investors, or whatever. So it's like, I think you might be basically saying that you don't agree, and oftentimes there will be things that like you could rightfully disagree with. You don't agree with two things, I think. Allocation of resources to the studio versus everything else, as well as which interests within the studio, which interests that are entering into the studio, because some of those interests come from publishers and investors. Which interests are taking precedence and having the highest priority. There are some companies that have so much money floating around that I'm not really sure how that even works. And I almost kind of feel like some of the studios, when they get so big, it's less about competing interests and it's more about just like herding cats. Like one of the costs of doing AAA game dev when you have a bigger studio is how do you manage all of that? Like you could have plenty of competent people with a lot of great ideas, but you have amazing diminishing returns on whatever it is you're trying to do. Like that's a kind of a problem with that's kind of how I wonder how Star Citizen does their stuff, because Star Citizen apparently has a shit ton of money, has a lot of developers, and a lot of it is honestly just the size of the game. Like how do you manage resources being created, time being allocated to different disciplines for a game as big as Star Citizen? I just don't have an answer. It doesn't make any sense to me. Well, yeah, it'd be resource allocation, different investments, higher primary rates, selective insight, and wise decisions. Well, that's why you need to start watching GDC and stuff. GDC will break your heart and be extremely enlightening. It will be extremely enlightening at the same time. I don't want that. Can't use that. It's probably the carrot cake, yeah. If they don't have them, they don't have them. We haven't been told. I think one of the problems with AAA... One of the problems with the AAA is it's the same reason why I don't talk about the studio that I actually work at. And I don't how there's some AAA developers who do the hey, this is my Twitter, company opinions are my own and don't represent the company and all other stuff. The reason why I don't do that is because everything that comes out of AAA from anybody is going to be torn apart, like throwing meat to wolves. And you have a level of accountability, especially when every word you say can be easily be misinterpreted, torn apart, whatever. Oh, you say so. Everything is zero-sum games for whatever statement you make. You don't make that mistake. You don't ever say anything. You don't tread that because you always lose. It doesn't matter what you say is right. It does the interpretation will always be somebody will always figure out a way to ruin it. And AAA devs tend to be, especially because the default perception of AAA on it, oftentimes especially is they're all they are is just evil schemers. And that's so quick. I wanted to finish the sentence while I'm busy fighting, but I guess we're done. There's such a negative perception and so much pulling apart what comes out of a AAA dev communication-wise that they just would rather not. They would rather focus on just streaming out highly curated statements and responses than risking being more open. It does. It would explain it. It's maybe they don't have a strong enough statement, or maybe they're busy working on it, and it hasn't come together yet, or maybe something fell through while they're busy putting it together, or whatever. Like, there's a million reasons, just they don't want to say it because it's going to get ripped apart by the community. And you're basically you're proving that right here. So it's but that's a statement that's going to say, oh, well, that's all it's going to do is it's like when you do, for example, when you, let's say, for example, somebody says they're having internet problems, and you ask, have you tried rebooting your router? Like, the moment you say something simple like that, have you tried turning it on and off again? That initiates a conversation that is never going to end well until somebody gets a response that they like. You can't even say that, because it gets torn apart. Like, that's the level of caution you need, because you're just going to get eaten into. Yeah, I keep going back here thinking I can buy more shit that I don't. Yeah, okay, whatever, let's go. But yeah, like, the reality, Kyleon, the unfortunate reality is they can't even say that, because they're going to... any statement at all will get ripped apart, and they'll be demonized for it. You're saying for place. Yeah, I mean, I actually, Kyleon, I'm pretty confident there is some. There's at least one GDC talk. I feel like I've seen the one too, that talks about exactly how to communicate with players and why. And they don't go into a shit ton of depth for some of those, but like, that's a reality you face, and they will never. They will, like, it's one of those things where, okay, so a great example would be, let's say, for example, you haven't posted anything on YouTube for 6 months, right? And then you post something on YouTube, it is exactly what your audience wants, and it gets a lot of views, but you lose a shit ton of subs, just all of a sudden. And you're like, shouldn't I be getting more subs? Shouldn't my channel be, like, have new life breathed into it? No. Does it make any sense? No. Like, even stuff that, like, from a generic, somewhat logical perspective seems right, just fucking falls apart. And rather than having a great understanding of it, people just know the rules that they need to follow. And some of that is like, don't say anything unless it's like overwhelmingly positive, has something actionable and digestible by players immediately, and like, it's just the way it works. I mean, a lot of shit doesn't make sense. It's like you're trying to dive into human psychology with some of that shit. It's just like, it doesn't make any sense, And there's probably some things like, maybe players have already moved on from the game, and so if you post a YouTube video, they're reminded that they don't care about the game anymore because they got the notification but you're still following the channel, and they're like, oh, I should probably unfollow this channel now. But other stuff's weird. It's like another example. Here's the enhanced version of that. Another example would be, I don't want the dash. The backfire effect for debates and discussions and stuff. What you'll find, if you're not familiar with the backfire effect, when people are presented with especially factual conflicting information about some belief that they hold, rather than updating their belief to reflect the new information, they'll solidify their stance, even if the stance is wrong. Damn, that's such a strong-ass bell. Let me read these from the chat. I know I've been rambling a bit. But yeah, Kyleon, I absolutely think we should pair up, maybe get some more people from Discord involved, and just watch these videos and talk about them. Let me see. Funny thing is, so you're talking about Gran Turismo. I had bought, a racing wheel because I was playing like spin tires and shit, and we all know how that went down. But I was thinking I should probably like consider getting a racing game at some point. And I never got around to it. I've got this thing collecting dust. Maybe one day, because they have like Ice Runners or Snow Runners or something now, like another game in that series. Yeah, Snow Runner. Yeah. And if anybody in the community happens to own it and wants to co-op some missions, some runs, whatever, I'd be up for figuring that, getting the whole setup running again. Somebody, what was the question? It was, any favorites or things you enjoyed from the PS5 event? Demon Souls was interesting. It's a shame that it's going to be PS5 only. Oh, we're perfectly equipped for this dude. So Demon Souls, the environments, Bluepoint seems to have a very strong talent for, like, whoever's doing their environment work is great at it. And everything looks great overall, right? Like, just the technical quality of it. The execution is really good. I wonder what drove the change in the visual designs for the bosses. They look a bit, they're missing the same sort of flavor as the original Demon Souls creatures, like the bosses. They had a very distinctive look. Everything was kind of like weird, grotesque, and now they're a little bit more, I see a bit more generic demon in them. They're missing some of the very distinct features, and the proportions are a lot different now. And I was actually looking for, the funny thing is I was looking for concept art for Demon Souls. I took a quick look. I didn't see it. I don't know. It probably exists somewhere. Did that oh, there he is. Okay, I was about to say. I was looking cross-eyed at the screen, and he's like all the way off down here, and I thought he just walked off this, like, just out into space. I was wondering if the concept art for Demon Souls, if the designs that they have in the remake better match the concept art, because one thing. Okay, here's another thing that you see with every remake. Star Wars is an example of this as well. Everything that goes forward gets remade, gets updated, whatever. Especially when they have a bigger budget, you find two things, and they're linked. One is that they don't resemble the source material as much, but it happens to be closer to what the developer intended. Which is, and with sequels has the same thing as well. The problem with that is that, especially when it is the bigger budget update or new entry in a series that players are super excited about, you find that getting something closer to the developer, what the developer intended, sometimes can drive further away from player expectations and why they liked whatever it was in the first place. And I'm wondering how Demon Souls is going to fare because of that. It's probably going to sell fine, but it's going to be weird, and certain things are going to be certain things that you felt like were the core of what it was, like visual designs for characters, or the wispiness of the bonfires in Dark Souls versus the remaster where it was more fiery. Those changes stick out, and it's hard to know how to react to them. So I don't know how I feel about Demon Souls, except for it looks much higher fidelity, and the environments look awesome. I might not enjoy the visuals for the bosses as much. I'm a bit bummed that it's probably not going to run at 60 FPS, but I did hear that there was mention that there will be a performance mode, like Neo does, where you have a visuals mode and a performance mode. And if that's the case, maybe you can get it to run at 60. And I'd probably just play it at that, because I hate playing games at 30. Assuming I end up with a PS5. I probably will, because if you work at a game dev, you're probably just going to own every console. This is kind of the way it seems to happen. You were thinking 60 cats? I don't know. I'll have to look at the trailers and see if it seems to be running at a high frame rate. But I don't trust launch titles for console games to consistently run at 60. I don't know. Anyways, let's go blow up a donkey real quick. That was the easiest it's ever been. I don't even want this boulder. I just killed the donkey for nothing. One of the most overall impressive games that I saw, I think I'd have to agree with Maximilian. Ratchet and Clank. Like, I've never played any entrance in the series. I don't know enough about the story to like think I might be invested in it. I don't really have a good idea of how the gameplay. I'm assuming it's like a 3D platformer. I don't know what's unique about it to make it interesting gameplay wise, but the size of the environments, the pace at which it moved, and the pace at which they were swapping on assets was very impressive. And I think they were trying to rely, like you could tell where they were masking loads and shit, but it was still loading super fucking quick. Where they take you to a loading zone, which is like the parallel universe, like limbo zone, but they move you out and in so quick that it's still very impressive. But I don't know if I'll ever play it. It'd be cool to look at, I guess. You know, and you know, giant worlds with crazy high-end textures and really nice lighting and stuff. Looked great. What was the one that had the what was the one that had the dudes sucked up into the sky and had like a satellite throwing down at them, and there was the cat hologram, and then the girl in a winter coat who fabricated like a net or something. Is that Project Athia or whatever? No, that's something different. Athia was the one where they're standing out in an open field or something. Ooh, the tiara. I have a thing that's somewhat stacks with that. The jewelry box. Oh, I mean, I don't know. They don't even synergize. They just stack. Oh, Arcana are enhanced with full health. They don't really need that. So then be this one. 7%. I don't know. The one that kind of looked like it looked like it was the one that supposedly, I guess it's Capcom's team. Maximilian was saying that they were using the Resident Evil engine, whatever the new one is. That one looks cool. I don't know if I care about the gameplay or I don't know if I'll play it, but look neat. Ghost of Tsushima looks like Assassin's Creed Japan, and I'm kind of. They're not that they're bad games, it's just I've had my fill. I'm Assassin's Creeded out. I think the amount that I need to be saved was very low. Was I a fan of Infamous? I played, Is Infamous the one where the dude's electric? Because I think I played a significant chunk of the way through that, or I played the demo, or something. Like it was like a PlayStation Plus... One of the earlier PlayStation Plus games, I think. And I think I finished it or got a chunk of the... I don't know. I don't remember it very well. I don't know if I didn't get invested in it. I played it. But no, I guess I had to concede. I just... No, not for me. What else are you guys mentioning? Hey, thanks for the raid, Squega. Oh yeah, Elcom. Let me go ahead and put that trivia up. There, you can answer some questions if you like. Hey, Blinds. Thanks again for the raid. What were you playing, Swagga? I think I saw you playing Monolith, but I might be wrong. There was a monorail, another tournament or something running, I think. How the run's going? I'm still on my first. I've been taking it really slow. I've literally been sometimes just standing still, just chatting for 15, 20 minutes at a time. So I'm so early. We're only on the 2-2, yeah. I've been taking it slow. I've almost been playing it because I like blowing shit up with spells, and then I want to just talk and chat with viewers. Also, I'm browsing through my chat right now to figure out what there were discussions about PS5 games and what was everybody looking forward to. So I guess I'll repeat that question. What was everybody looking forward to? What did everyone think was cool? Monorail 2 is happening tomorrow at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. Eastern time. That's like the middle of the night for me. Saturday, Sunday with small prize pool. You're working at Monolith hard mode looping 46. I'm surprised. I guess Monolith is very friendly to that. But man, winning every single run. Are you going the entire way to? Are you going the entire way to? So you're doing hard mode. So are you getting the entire way to null, and then still beating it? You were doing really well with null, anyways, though. When I was watching you, so I could see you getting the consistency down. It's not like running through Zero Ranger where I'm like 60 hours in and I still can't consistently once you see it. Hard mode of the 7. Oh my god, yeah, I forgot. There's a whole other boss now. I still have not played it since the update. Alright, portal time, let's go. Let's go beat up a mini boss real quick. Easy enough. Bosses are very easy compared to the enemies at such a high loop. Oh, they have a whole other new thing now. Where you can keep going. No, yeah, I've been following the gifts for ages, and they've just been... I feel like they added more content than the game started with in the most recent update. Just a completely ridiculous amount of stuff. Balance fixes to make the runs more consistent. Yes! Oh my god, maybe that's why you're able to do it. Because I could certainly get... I was able to get world records in the game. And I could finish a run in like 5 minutes. To the 5th floor. I think I had a 6th floor 1 in 10. Which had a lot of room for optimization. But I definitely felt like it was very difficult to be consistent. Certain weapons just didn't work for me. I definitely want to go back and play more of it, for sure. I don't know. I feel like breaking the ice with stuff that I've touched before is harder. Or I haven't played in a while. Used to loot Monolith pre-DLC and hard mode and get to 82 consecutive, but you're right, it seems pretty difficult in pre-DLC. Oh, interesting, okay. Because that's what I felt, but then again, maybe I hadn't played enough to be... to have an accurate perception of that. Ugh. You know what? Cut that shit out, Freiya. I missed my opportunity there because I'm just... Changed a lot of weapons to be much better. Drills are good. Running got reworked. Thunderhead's good now. Ways to add keywords to weapons to make them stronger. Like, specific keywords is what you're saying. Ooh, these were good, I think. Or, I don't know. Oh, they're not boomerangs, though. I could swap them out with the homing flares. I'll keep. It's fine. You can pick from a random selection of keywords that have up to 4 on a weapon. Yeah, it's a definite, like, it's a guarantee it's gonna happen at some point for me. It's just a question of when. Part of what I've been struggling with is I feel like I'm having a bit of shit, I'm looking for the right word. I'm like bouncing away from the super intense, incredibly difficult games for a bit. Like I could just as easily go back to Zero Ranger, try to do score runs. I could go back to Monolith and just try to do, you know, anything with that game for how hard it is. Like, I feel like there was a bit of like, I bounced off of some of these games because I wanted to play stuff that's a bit more casual, a bit easier, a bit smoother. Because I feel like there's like my tolerance for stress has gone down a bit lately, and I feel like I don't have enough time to. I don't play enough games that allow me to decompress, not think, and just like chat with the community and just, you know, kind of run through it, you know, very casually. Like, it's what I would play Dark Souls for, because Dark Souls didn't require a big mental investment for me. I was kind of going through the motions, could talk to chat, had a lot of downtime. Games like Zero Ranger or Monolith or whatever, I would be just, I'm constantly taxed. I'm mentally taxed. It's incredibly difficult. Lots of restarts, lots of failures. And, I just, you know, I had to have something, like, that's part of the reason why I haven't been playing any puzzle games, because I finish work and I'm so mentally drained that I'm not ready to play puzzle games, even though games like Steven's Sausage Roll and Into the Breach and Baba Is You, they're brilliant games, but I just do not have the mental energy to play them, not after solving extremely difficult problems as part of work. But I want to find a time when I'm not super stressed to get back into those games. I feel bad too. Like, it feels like I'm going, you know, a younger me would have basically said that I was going casual, that, like, I'm not a hardcore gamer or whatever. Like, that means anything. Balancing all things, maybe. That'd be a very strong mimic. Oh, I don't think I want Gold Disc. I'm gonna kill the trivia. Nobody cares about that. It's kind of two lingering regrets I've had with my gaming experience so far. One is that I never figured out any real balance. Like, Dark Souls was the balance for the longest time. Dark Souls was the game that allowed me to. It allowed me to do co-op when I wanted. It allowed me to PvP when I wanted. It allowed me to be, you know, casual, going through the motions when I wanted. It allowed me to pick something extremely difficult when I wanted. It had pacing that allowed me to talk to the chat. Like, it had every little element to it, and that's why it was such a comfortable game for me to play. But But because I don't have that anymore, I have to find the games that give me those experiences that are all together, you know, that aren't the perfect game for streaming. And because I never did, it's almost like finding work-life balance, you know? Finding, like, stream environment balance, or whatever. And so many of the games that were Dark Souls that I dove into were all extremely demanding games that were super always on and didn't have a lot of time for chat. Or were extremely mentally demanding, like puzzle games. The few puzzle games that I played. It's kind of why roguelites have taken over as well, because roguelites are very much the same thing. They're a game with great pacing, a lot of variety, a lot of time to talk to chat. The difficulty goes up and down. Some of them literally let you choose your difficulty, you know, like the boss cells and dead cells, or like choosing lethality and difficulty in Monolith. I should really write, like, oh man, if I had the energy, I should be doing videos on this shit. That particular strafe archer, he got like way more abilities than he's ever had. I think I'm gonna go get that potion. I'm so rich, why not? I'm gonna buy the bracelet. See what it does. Oh no. It has boosted effects when you're with a true friend. It seems it has no effects otherwise. Huh. Okay. Nope. Let me double check. No. Anyways, so remember how I mentioned earlier how I've just been exhausted, and like I'm definitely not dealing with the stress of the state of the world very well, for sure. I'm gonna make a concerted effort to get like some real outside time, even just to take walks and stuff, just to kind of like get some exercise, get some fresh air, and try to be in better spirits in order to stream some more. Every enemy defeated. Oh, that was one I was looking at before, and I didn't really want. I'll take it. I don't know if I'm gonna need it. It would be really cool if I could beat a bunch of enemies right up to a boss, and then fight the boss, and try not to take damage. Like, I'm running into bosses that it's relevant for, but... What is that I picked up that's giving me the extra fire? It's a cinnamon hots, okay. I knew I had the item, I just couldn't remember what it was. I think it just kind of snuck up on me. I don't think I bought it. I think I must have gotten it from a random chest or something. Well, at least I'm not worried about having enough money for these things. I've got a really, really good set of Arcana anyways. I would like one more boomerangy kind of thing. I need to take a look and see what was coming out. What was the whole list of games that are on the PS5 showcase reveal, whatever it was, whatever the event name was.
You have returned.
Speaking of which, hey Coonzer, and thanks for the resub. I need to take a real look at it. Like I was hoping to watch it with viewers, but I wasn't able to watch it at work, so... Well, I could have. I mean, honestly, I could have. But I wanted to focus on work. Plus, honestly, I didn't want to... My internet connection is busy at work. I didn't want to further saturate my connection. But I wanted to, like, get on Discord after the fact at some point, and, like, just... Alright, let's load up Discord, I'll share my screen, and let's watch a bunch of shit. I'm not super clear on the whole of what was released, but it would be really cool to kind of go over it and see, hey, what do you think about this? So remember how I was mentioning I had two major failings with streaming? One of them is I never figured out that kind of like work-life balance, right? Of like, how do you stream games that allow you to chat with the community, and then games that are intense and interesting to watch, and then games that are super casual and uncomfortable. The other thing I didn't do is I haven't engaged with the community for like multiplayer stuff, or just for hanging out or whatever. Not nearly as much as I wish I had. What makes me happier, Dark Souls remix or it not being Bloodborne? Because it's gonna be, or the Demon Souls remix, sorry, not Dark Souls. If Bloodborne was released on PC and it was 60 FPS, if Bloodborne was, I'd give it a shot. I'd run through it. I'd see how I thought. Because, the major thing that was holding it back was the awful frame rate. And I feel like a lot of the other stuff some of the stuff I just wouldn't have really liked. PvP doesn't really work at all. It's mechanically broken, but I don't really care that much. I can live without the PvP. But, anything I could have appreciated with that was had a big old pile of shit thrown on it by the awful frame rate. The sub 25 FPS frame rate. I think Bloodborne did a lot of other stuff wrong, but I would have looked past it if it didn't run so bad. I think the Demon Souls remix... So technically, yes, the Demon Souls remix makes me happier. It sucks that it's on PS5 only, but maybe it'll run at 60 FPS, and I'll probably end up with a PS5 anyways. I'm not interested in the PvP for Demon Souls, and maybe they'll make it... Maybe they'll actually balance it, but they probably won't, and I don't care so much. Oh, Lazy Vickers is cool. Heal from fall kills. Shove spam isn't. It's not just shove spam. It's the weapon balance. It's all the moongrass shit. Full heals as much as you want. It was, how easy it is to stack 3 different damage over time debuffs that are difficult and expensive to remove. And just, you could list it through, you could just keep listing shit. You can only have one at a time with the sprites. Did they change that? They don't have a note. I wonder if they fixed it. I wonder if they changed it. Usually, I could swear it's previously would have a note saying you can only have one at a time. Ooh, grease boots. Grease boots would be kind of nice. Yeah. Not the best thing in the world, but it's something. So yeah, you know, I'll definitely, you know, whenever I end up, you know, able to play it, I'll certainly want to go through the Demon Souls remake. It looks, the environments look great. I love to just wander through that world again. You know, and if there's anything I can be confident about, is that Blue Point will make the environments look awesome, and that, you know, even though the bosses are a bit of a disappointment in their designs, most of the time you're just looking at the world anyways. So. It's not like an end-all be-all. Not every game is exactly what you want. In fact, how many games are exactly what you want in every way? I literally got another one. The first one hadn't even finished yet, and I got the other one up. That's how strong this is. And I have another one I can just throw out now. That shit is broken. And I'm gonna end up getting a 75 HP heal on the way into the boss, so I don't even need to get a potion or nothing. Yeah. Sometimes it's way too intense. Yeah, no, it definitely has no chill. it keeps going. I think they intend for you to run through the game faster. Enter the Gungeon, I would say, is better with the pacing of the music. Enter the Gungeon has situational music. Enter the Gungeon has something weird about their music. I'm not sure what's going on with it. Because I don't think it's fully dynamic, right? It's more like Enter the Gungeon's, the composition of their tracks is, I guess, so good that even though they just do a very simple crossfade, it somehow feels more than that. But I'm not sure. Like, I feel like they're cutting in instruments in and out. Like, their tracks are modular, and they have, like, really good choices of stingers that they can insert, and they're on tempo. But I can't figure it out. Like, it doesn't make any... Enter the Gungeon's music, the music pacing is so good that was a large reason of why I played it for as long as I did. Before AG&D, back before when the RNG was so hefty, you couldn't, like, it was so difficult to play. And now AG&D makes it to where the difficulty is a lot more even, and so you can enjoy that suspiciously good music, that, like, I don't, like, uncanny quality of how well it fits the mood. And Wizard of Legend, that's probably the one thing Wizard of Legend could stand to get, would be something to modularize its music to where they can make it better fit each situation. Like, maybe have some of the bigger instruments fade out until you're in combat, and then fade them back in or something. I don't know. You know, it's not the most important thing in the world, but it would be nice. Revisit FTL at some point. I don't know. I mean, if I'm Coonzer, I'll say this. If my backlog starts to empty out, or if for whatever reason I happen to get fortunate enough to be a full-time streamer, then I'll go back to it. Otherwise, it's just probably not going to happen. I have so many other games on my backlog to go through first. His signature is actually really easy to dodge, strangely enough. Yeah, I'm kind of just cruising through that. Sure, it might be really easy. Oh, they redid the room too. I forgot because he. Oh, whoa! He has a whole other. He has. This is new. Something happened in the latest update. Do you have like a little gauntlet to run through? I guess you do. Yeah, this is great. So, the cool thing about this is that this gives you the ability to charge up stuff that is enemy based before you fight Shura. I know they added shops or something too. Ooh, neat. They have some chaos enemies now. Oh, this is gonna be broken. Oh, and there's shops. Ooh, Breaking Twister's good. It's enhanced too. Shawl is good. Spice Rack is great. Unlocked increases the chance. They have a bit of a tooltip bug here. They're not. I guess they don't account for this not being centered. This is something I've literally fixed on games that I've worked on before. More than once, on more than one game. Yuffie, Shawl, and Breaking Twister. Let me double check to make sure Breaking Twister does what I think it's going to do. Yeah, there we go. In fact, I actually might... No, let's do that. So the Tomahawk is... I'd rather have a fire and forget weapon. And the Spice Rack. Wow, I'm freaking rich. I suppose when you get to the end, you start reminiscing about the beginning. If you want to go full circle, it's going to take a bit of chaos to get there. 25 gems to go back to the beginning? No. But it's great, though. If you feel like you're not ready for sure, you could just, walk on back. I think I can do this. Famous last words. Well, now with the extra health, I'm good. Oh, he's Did they change his... I could swear that they may have changed his throne room, but I may be remembering this wrong. They did so many... They've done so many updates to this game, I'm losing track of how much shit they've been doing. Before they cast out the backgrounds, yeah. Oops, I gotta be more careful with that. Alright, that's phase 1. Man, I'm much more able to handle them like this. This is ridiculous. Oh my god. This is absolutely a Wizard of Legend setup for sure. That's the strongest build I've ever had. And that is absolutely going to YouTube. Holy shit. Yeah, look at me, I'm the best. Which one do I get? Chaos Crusher. Oh, it's a basic. Oh my god, I forgot that they have one of each. Actually, I want to talk to the twins just to make sure, because I know I've talked to Shuu before. Yeah. Actually, have they changed the, No. Okay, so Shura says the same thing. Yeah, that's me. A very quickly erected statue in my honor that has time... That's had time to cure in the, like, seconds since the battle. Maybe it's been poured. It's metal.